We are now live streaming. Yeah, that's what we're doing. So it's me, Kyle. It is, let me see, September 14th, 2022. And I'm just chatting it up about things that are going on in the world of campaigning. So for those of you who are first timers here, I'm Kyle Parrish. I'm running in North Carolina's 5th district. That is the northwest corner of North Carolina. There are 12 counties in my district, 2 of which are partial, 10 of which are whole. And so you could look it up on Dave's Redistricting, one of my favorite websites. So we'll start this out maybe by doing a little bit of that. Let me see. I'll hop down to the bottom here, and then I'll share a screen. And let's just use this screen over here. And then let's drag a tab over to there where you can see. And then we'll go to Dave's Redistricting to show you where the district is. For those of you who don't know, there it is right at the top. You know why? Because it's a great site. So I don't know who Dave is, but Dave does a great job. Thank you, Dave, for doing stuff. So here we go. Whatever terms he needs me to agree with, I will. So we are number 5 right there. Okay, and we can put on some county lines maybe. Let's see. Let's do some county lines. Look at that. And we could actually put on some labels. Now you can see. So, as I said, 12 counties representing 745,670 people. Okay, so here we have Stokes, Forsyth, Davie, Yadkin, Surrey, Wilkes, Allegheny, Ashe, Watauga, Caldwell, Avery, and Mitchell. Now, what's cool about this is that there are 2 spots that are kind of blue. So let's see. We'll do a partisan lean. Let's see. In the precincts, can we actually, how do we do that? Maybe here. Partisan lean. Oh, pretty red. Pretty darn red. So Kathy Manning is over here. Now, Kathy Manning is another person running for Congress, but guess what? She really didn't even have to run for Congress because her district's really blue and she's a Democrat. Over here, really red. That's Virginia Fox, man. Down here, kind of red. This is the old Madison Cawthorn territory. Isn't that great? What a good guy he was, except that he was a horrible, horrible person who did horrible things and was incredibly immature. Other than that, but that's where he came from, right over here. All right. So as you can see, there's a few left-leaning places in North Carolina. Down here, this is around Charlotte, and this is Alma Adams. This is Kathy Manning. This up here is Deborah Ross. And this right here, this is Deborah Ross. This is Valerie Foushee. This is Kathy Manning. And this is Don Davis. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 districts that are there. 13 is a big, big deal. 13 here is a guy named Wiley Nickel for the good guys, right? And another guy named Bo Hines for the Republicans. Now, Bo Hines, I'm incredulous, right? I'm going to talk about him just for a minute because he just drives me insane that, a lot of Republican candidates drive me insane. This guy's 26 years old, okay? Not that there's anything wrong with that, except, oh, that's right, he's never had a job in his whole life. He is a trust fund kid. So because he's never had a job and he just comes from wealth, he hates elitists, but he went to Yale, which I don't know. He must not have done so great at Yale because he ended up at Wake Forest Law School. Not that there's anything that bad about Wake Forest Law School. It's actually a fine law school. But not a lot of people who go to Yale undergrad go to Wake Forest Law, right? So, I don't know. Wake Forest is in this district, and I love Wake Forest. But I don't know why he went there, right? Anyhow, probably get myself in trouble. Wake Forest Law School is outstanding. The university is outstanding, but it's not where Yale people go, right? Anyway, so the other thing is, because he's never had a job in his entire life, he thinks he should be a congressperson. And guess what? He won the Republican primary in this area, right? People in the Republican Party think that he should be a congressperson too, which would be really, really shocking, except for the fact that there seems to be no self-awareness. Oh, the other thing is even though he's 26 years old, he's never had a job, is a trust fund baby who hates elitists, but went to Yale. He also is very, very family values. And at 26 years old, he's on his second marriage. Dude, man, I was divorced, but I gave it 10 years and best I could. And, that's family values when you stay in there and fight for it, not when you're 26 and you're married twice already. Anyway, that's not really family values. Like, you haven't even barely dated yet. Anyhow, so that's the 13th district. So support Wiley Nickel in the 13th district, because basically we need people to win to beat him, because Bo Hines is Madison Cawthorn with a better degree, right? Now I want to talk a little bit about over here in this area. 11. There's a guy named Chuck Edwards who's running. Now, here's the problem. So there's a group that came in and really fired Madison Cawthorn. They did everything they possibly could to get rid of Madison Cawthorn. Oh, my God. They're like, get rid of him, get rid of him, get rid of him. So they did. Chuck Edwards comes in. Chuck Edwards is Madison Cawthorn, but he has much better manners and will cause all kinds of trouble, because basically he's not going to be the kind of person who people point out and go, man, that guy is awful. He's just going to slowly find a way to erode your rights while he's in D.C. Much like our favorite person in the world, 5th District, matron of hanging out and never doing anything, Virginia Fox. So there you go. This is where Virginia Fox is. And she is also one of these characters who does nothing except kind of destroy her own district. So that's the rundown this year. Now, we talked once before about Moore v. Harper and all that kind of stuff. I kind of want to talk a little bit about gerrymandering. And the reason is I think people, and I want to find something. I didn't really find a good place for gerrymandering, gerrymandered maps. I'm going to talk a little bit about this anyway. Oh, look, North Carolina, right? They got it right here. So the gerrymandered North Carolina maps. This is an article from 21, and these maps were thrown out. But what this shows you, where'd it go? Right here. This was the map they tried to draw. Now, they actually took Watauga over here, right? If you recall our map, you got this one. Let's see. Can we get this to there? Get it to make it bigger, right? Look at this. So these were all going to be Republicans. These were going to be Democrat. And then you had maybe this kind of thing, but it was all strong lean. So it was going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 at least, and 8 and 5, right? Except we have now at 6 after the census, right? So the fact of the matter is they want to make it so that they have these maps forever. Now, why is that? Well, the way it works is you have state-based gerrymandering, state legislature. So let's talk a little bit about gerrymandering just for fun. Gerrymandering begins at the state level in the state house. And I highly recommend anybody who wants to learn about this, read the book, Laboratories of Autocracy. This book, I'm going to give props, man, to this guy, David Pepper. Follow him also on Twitter. As you notice, here's the red. All the states that are red here have red state legislatures. Now, how did they get red state legislatures? After Obama was elected in 2008, there was a huge backlash, and in 2010, a bunch of Republicans took over state legislatures. When they did that, what happened was it also happened to align with the 10-year census. Now, the 10-year census goes out and it counts everybody, the population across the country, and based on those census numbers, you get new numbers of representatives because there's a certain formula that goes to creating your congressional seats. So if your state gained a bunch of people, you would gain House of Representatives seats. If you lost people, you'd lose them. Anyway, but you get to draw the maps. Well, these state legislatures planned for this, and what they decided when they won, the Republicans, they drew maps in all these states that heavily favored themselves using gerrymandering. So now what happened was, even like in North Carolina, where we're very purple, we actually lean a little bit Dem in North Carolina, but you would never know it because the Republican General Assembly drew the map such that they would get the vast majority of the seats inside of the state legislature. Well, so they did that. They now fixed themselves into the state legislature, and now they turn around and they drew the maps for the federal districts, at which point in time what they're trying to do there is get as many of the federal House seats as they can using gerrymandering. When you do this, what happens is you begin to form a permanent rule. Now, and in this case, it's permanent minority rule. The Republicans in North Carolina have fewer registrations than either unaffiliated voters or Democratic voters. They are a solid minority in this state. But due to what happened in the 2010 census, 2010 midterm elections, and them drawing the maps, they've basically fixed themselves. And in our case, it was for a good while a supermajority plus the governor. Luckily, the supermajority got wiped out. We won enough seats in some of these areas to get rid of the supermajority and put in a Democratic governor. So now, even though they have solid majorities in both houses of our legislature, everything they pass can be vetoed by the governor, and they don't have the votes to override it. So they will push through all kinds of crazy legislation doing this. Every one of these states will. And if they have veto-proof majorities, they can override even a Democratic governor or anything else. In the state of North Carolina right now, what they're doing, and this is one of the things why it's so important for you to be fired up about this midterm election, is they're actually trying to put through the Supreme Court a thing called the Independent State Legislature Doctrine, which says that the state courts can't review the state legislature's maps and federal laws because in the Constitution, it did not give the courts the right to do that. Why are they doing this? Because what has stopped our state legislature from drawing absolutely insane maps year after year has been the courts that find that they are incredibly racist, right? I believe the finding was they have targeted, African Americans with almost surgical precision in order to solidify their majorities. Now, and it's a majority of the vote, but not a majority of representation. They don't care. And because they're gerrymandered, they don't have to run hard or get reelected or anything else. So they will get reelected by default, which is the same situation in a way we kind of have with my opponent, Virginia Foxx. Virginia Foxx has been in office for 18 years and done nothing. Not a single piece of legislation that she has put forth in 18 years has benefited the 5th District. Matter of fact, was the Kids Get Fed Act or something like that? Let's see. Yeah, Keep Kids Fed Act. Right. So this one here, Jeanne Shaheen put it forth. To get this bill through, and remember last week, I think we went over the fact that almost 60% of the children in the 5th District are on free or reduced lunch, they had to fight with Virginia Fox. Virginia Fox did not want to continue giving kids free and reduced lunch without like means testing everybody. She's like, I don't think we should waste the taxpayers' money. But she says she cares about kids. She says she's pro-life. She says all this, but she's taking food out of their mouths. Now, you would think the people in the 5th, they would be in an uproar. Well, first of all, she runs under the radar, so none of the people in the 5th really know that she's actually trying to take food out of their mouths. The second thing is because there is this rabid partisanship now, they're going to vote red pretty much no matter what at this point, which is what we need to continue to fight against. And how do we fight against that? We fight against that by getting out and talking to people and interacting with people who don't agree with us, right? So I think that's very important. So that's my little intro today of what's going on. So what else is happening in the great world of politics and campaigns and all that? Here, I want to share something with y'all that's kind of fun. How about let's do amount of money raised in 2020 Senate campaigns. Okay. So here you go. 2022, let's do this. Look at the amount of money. Okay, Ohio and Florida. JD Vance here, right? I mean, $50 million, yada, yada, yada. But I really want to go to 2020. And the reason I want to do that, where is it? Here we go. Yeah, this is insane when you look at the amount of money. Here you go. So total money raised by top 10 Senate campaigns. Over $1 billion were raised in the top 10 Senate campaigns in 2020. Over $1 billion. Now, I have a point here that I think is very interesting, even if nobody's watching. Okay. You notice up here they add McSally, Perdue, Loeffler, Graham. Loser, 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 winner, loser, loser, winner, winner, loser, winner. Look at those numbers. John Ossoff raised $140 million by himself. And at least he had the courtesy to win. I mean, seriously, at least he had the courtesy to win, because Jamie Harrison at $133 million got his ass kicked by Lindsey Graham, who raised $109 million. Right now, Sarah Gideon in Maine, my old stomping grounds, raised $76 million for her campaign in a state that has literally, about 1.1 million people in the entire state. Like literally, there's more people in the Raleigh-Durham area and in the Triad, not combined, in individual either of those, than in the entire state of Maine. She raised $76 million. She ran against Susan Collins. She got throttled, and she finished it with $14 million in the bank. $14 million in the bank. Now, she got her $14 million bucks. That's awesome. And what did she do with that $14 million? Well, she sat on it, and she's given some away. She's done this, that, and the other, but she also has this massive mailing list for this $76 million. Now, that $76 million in her mailing list, she rents it for $500,000 or something. So if you want to fundraise off of Sarah Gideon's mailing list, give her $500,000. Like, you want to save democracy, but you're going to charge $500,000 for the help. Jamie Harrison here with this $133 million. Now, keep in mind, in a campaign like mine, there isn't a lot of money at all. Now, Virginia Fox has several $1 million because she takes corporate donations and she just raises money and never has to spend any of it. Right? Oh, people are chatting. I forgot to turn on the chat on. Have y'all said something to me? Come on. There it is. Oh, my goodness. Hi, Andrea. Tanya, what's going on? All right, let's see. So let me see. She must go. It's all ironic. Everything about this. I mean, it was ironic to me because I was like, wow, that's pretty amazing. But you think about Jamie Harrison, $133 million and got pummeled. Amy McGrath in Kentucky raised almost $100 million, got pummeled. Sarah Gideon, $76 million, got pummeled. Now, where did that money go? I mean, seriously, where did that money get spent? Because does it go to consultants? Does it go to TV advertising? Does it go to mailers? Does it go to signs in yards? I'm sure it goes to all those things. But here's the thing that I think is insane about this. If somebody dropped $100,000 on me, said, here's $100,000. Now, no one's allowed to do that. Financing rules don't. But if I had $100,000 and like a PAC could come in, do $100,000, we could make a significant difference in the 5th district with $100,000 or $200,000, not $1 million, $1,000. We could get our message out. We could get our word out. We should buy some billboards. We could put up signs. We could basically hold events. We could do all kinds of stuff with $100,000. If you took $20 million just across out of, you say, look, Sarah Gideon, Amy McGrath, Jamie Harrison, how about the three of y'all each throw in $6.67 million? That makes $20 million. We're going to pick 200 congressional campaigns that are being run in red districts across the states, and we're going to give each of them $100,000 of support. That's $20 million. I guarantee you would have better results in an overall election than you would by spending that next $1 million or $5 million in Harrison, McGrath, Gideon getting pummeled. Like literally, say Jamie Harrison had only had $100 million instead of $133 million. How big a difference would that have been in the state of South Carolina? Like, how big a difference? How many votes did that last $30 million get him? But we have this tendency to want to support these people, right? Because we're like, oh, we hate Lindsey Graham. We hate, oh my God, Susan Collins is such a bonehead. She's got to go. Mitch McConnell is evil. He's Satan. So let's all send our money there. But it's a dumb place to send your money a lot of times, right? It really is. It's not a smart place to send your money because you're not persuading people. You're not changing minds. I'm sure by the time that last $30 million is spent, everyone in that state is so freaking sick of hearing about Lindsey Graham and Jamie Harrison, and they've all made up their minds, and they're completely shut off. So we need to come up with a better way to think about these things. Whereas within our district, if someone, like I said, if people just said, you know what, we're going to divert some money to Kyle and Scott Huffman and Pam Ginnett and Beach Ferrara and all these other people who can't raise a lot of money. If we said, let's give them some money and let them get out in a red district and talk to people and meet with people and everything else, we would be winning the races for judges. We would be winning the Senate races because we could be talking to people who are persuadable. But now none of us can really afford to talk to anybody in these red districts because we don't have the money to do it. We don't have the money to get the word out. So I wanted to talk to you about that because I don't know how many of you actually do donate to campaigns. And for those of you that do, thank you very much. I personally am all for public financing of campaigns. The game is what it is today. I think this is all repugnant. But I do know that if you are going to donate to a campaign, you should think about what's the actual power of my donation. What's it actually going to deliver? Is it going to persuade some voters? Is it going to make a difference? Because if it's not, then don't do it. Right? Find a candidate where it is going to make a difference. So I'll give you an example of a guy that a lot of people have given to this cycle, Marcus Flowers. See now, support Marcus Flowers, defeat Marjorie Taylor Greene. Okay, so let's see. Now, here's Marcus Flowers. Marcus for Georgia. Marcus is a great guy. Sure, he's fantastic. Marcus is running against MTG. And as it says right there, he's a U.S. Army veteran and all this. And he's raised over $7 million. That's right, $7 million. Now, out of that $7 million, what are his chances of winning? Let's take a look. So this is kind of fun. 538 House races 2022. Here we go. All right. So I don't know if you've ever been here, 538. This is another cool site. I highly recommend it. Extremely cool. You can learn a lot. Republicans are favored to win the House. The House. All right. Now, it used to be a lot worse, but it's still they're favored, right? And a lot of this has to do again with gerrymandering, right? So, but up here, find a race. So let's look up Marcus Flowers, Georgia. Now remember, $7 million. The dude he's raised $7 million. So that $7 million it's gonna do some awesome shit, man. Right? Boom. Hold on. Let's put him in. There he is. There we go. Oh, wow. That's $7 million. It says, I think this is kind of funny, right? It's not funny because it pains me to know that Marjorie Taylor Greene is going to get elected. Like, no problem. They say 99 in 100 times that she's going to win. Dude, there are no balls over here. Why don't they just say 100 out of 100? Right? So his vote totals are 71%, 29%. Let's see what mine are. I'm willing to take a hit. There's me, Kyle Parrish, North Carolina 5th. Woo! All right, ready? Oh, look at this, though. Right? So I actually have a couple balls that are a little closer even. So it could be 53 to 46. Man, or it could be as bad as 75 to 24. Did I have $7 million? Is anybody jumping there to give me a bunch of money? No. But Marcus Flowers' money, if you shifted some of that to other districts where we have this, maybe we drag some of these balls over, people. Maybe we get them a little further over, because that's what we need to do. Because there's a couple people out there that I want y'all to meet, right, that I think is vitally important. So this has never been about Kyle Parrish. This has always been about democracy, the people, healthcare, affordable housing, broadband, schools, jobs with living wages. It's not about Kyle Parrish, right? So, and it's about justice. It's about us having a fair society. So Sam Ervin. Okay. Here we go. Does he? Yes. So support Sam Ervin. Support him. He is a fair-minded justice on the North Carolina Supreme Court, and we absolutely have to keep him in play. Absolutely. Okay? He is fantastic. Look at all these people that have recommended it. And we need the justices, because right now we have a one-person margin. And there's two races. There's Sam Ervin and Lucy Inman. Okay, Lucy Inman also vote for Lucy Inman. In these red districts, we need to be talking to people because we need Sam Ervin and Lucy Inman to win. And remember, Sherry Beasley, in her loss for the Supreme Court, lost by 401 votes across the entire state. 401 votes. You think if we didn't have some money in red districts that we couldn't get 401 votes for them? Seriously, we could at least get people out to vote if we had some resources. So, but this is vitally important. Lucy Inman and Sam Ervin, right? Vote for them. Now, of course, we all know about Sherry Beasley. She's our Senate candidate, and we need to get out and keep hustling for her too, right? So when we're going out there, we need to be supporting the whole ticket. Now, I'm also going to give a little pump to my buddy Ben Massey for you fifth folks. Ben Massey is running for House District 93. And he is absolutely one of the best people I've met. And he deserves to win. And the people of Ashe County and Watauga deserve him as their rep. And Allegheny also. If we get out and we get help, we go out, we can support the Ben Masseys. So we could support up ticket, we could support down ticket, right? And what I mean by that is when you think about the ticket, it's the ballot, right? Up ballot and down ballot. Up ballot is the big races. Down ballot is you get to the judges. We need to be pushing people all the way so that they know who represents their values top to bottom. It's vitally important that happens. And if it doesn't happen, we got an issue. So look, if someone types a new comment, it looks like it will display there. I don't know. I keep learning new stuff about this software. So that was kind of what I had to talk about today. I've been talking. I mean, I guess we're on about 35 minutes or something. Next week, I'm going to have a guest. We're going to talk about student debt. And I'm going to start having guests every single week after this week. I couldn't get it done this week because it's been kind of a crazy week. And as you may all recall, I running for Congress is my second job. My first job is working in IT for a large company. And I also have two teenage kids who live at home that need me to help them do different things and take them places and drive them to school and everything else. So didn't get a chance to get a guest this week, but I'm going to start having guests, and I'm going to try to have guests every week. So next week's student debt. Also, we're going to present, I think, what's like an affiliate site, like where y'all guys can set up this little site where basically it's a Kyle Parrish fan site. I don't know what you'd call it, but anyway, we're going to talk about that. And what it is it's basically campaigning by referring each other, right? Kind of getting things to go forward. So people sign up who like me and what I represent, right? Or even if you don't like me and you like what I represent, support me. That goes out to your friends who then, if they like me, goes out to their friends and so on until we build a following. And that's going to be one of the biggest things as this goes forward past November 8th. We need to continue to consistently build a following. We need to continue to get the message out. We need to continue to fight. Because regardless of this, right? Regardless of this, in 2 years, what if we take a bunch of these and we shift them all 5 points? That will help the presidential election. It will help the next round of Senate elections, the next round of judges, the next round of House of Representatives, people, everything else. This is a long game, people. And I know that maybe I get a little, stringing out a whole bunch of stories together, but the whole story here is we need to strategically think about how, as Democrats, we can continue to move forward. And to tell you the truth, forget it as Democrats. The party is a construct we have to adhere to because, I mean, even this blue and red and Republican and Democrat in the state of North Carolina, it's almost impossible to run as an independent or as a third party. So you're either a Republican or a Democrat, but forget the parties. If we want to give people affordable housing, if we want to help them have health care that's accessible and affordable, if we want them to get broadband so that there can be jobs in their area because companies will move there when they have access to the internet and kids can go to school when they, and not miss information that they wouldn't be able to get without the internet. When elderly folks or anyone wants to do telehealth because they're homebound, the internet gives them that kind of access. All those things create a workforce that companies want to hire, which creates jobs, which creates living wages. If those are your values, if you believe in those same things, regardless of Republican or Democrat, we need to keep getting the message out. So next week, we're going to talk about some student debt stuff. We're going to talk about this referential site that you can build out. The week after that, we'll have another guest, and I'm going to start posting topics. So keep an eye out on the topics that I'm going to talk about too, because it could be that, hey, one week you're interested and another week you're like, this is terrible. I'm not interested at all. Right? But you could show up and you'll know what I'm going to talk about. So I'm tightening up the ship, folks. I'm doing the best I can. But anyway, thank you for supporting me. Thank you for supporting the values that, I espouse. And I hope you have a great night and a great week. And I will talk to you soon. And as always, if you have any questions or anything else, don't hesitate to email me, message me, whatever. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Okay? Take care, everybody. Bye-bye. Well, I'm trying to quit. I can't. There we go. Now I'm leaving. If I only had a technical crew. I do have a campaign dog, but he doesn't have opposing thumbs, so he can't help. Anyway, all